Number 19. Walking everywhere. It might seem appealing for some to head out to the strip and walk the entirety of it. While this is completely doable, the distances are a lot further than you may think. And to get the whole strip in, you have to walk in some areas that may not be as safe as you might think. Instead of getting out there and walking everywhere, there are plenty of different types of transportation options that can get you from site to site, such as the monorail. This is especially helpful if you're visiting during the summer months, because it gets hot out there. Number 18. Skip the heels. You may be tempted to always dress to the nines when you're in Las Vegas because you feel it's a glamorous experience. But we promise you that if you wear those heels that you're looking at wearing, you will regret it, especially if you're walking the strip. To save yourself some pain in your feet and some blisters, it might be best for you to opt for more comfortable shoes. Even if you're going someplace fancy, a nice pair of booties or even flats are perfectly acceptable. Number 17. Don't go without shoes. Sticking with the mistakes of people making regarding shoes. After wearing those heels for a long time, many women choose to take them off and walk around barefoot. After being on your feet for a long period of time in those shoes, why wouldn't you want to do that? Well, for one, not only are the sidewalks extremely dirty, but the casino floors are as well. If you do this in a casino, most security officers will instruct you to put your shoes back on, and you don't want any hassle with security. Number 16. Don't stray too far. Unlike a lot of other cities, when you're visiting Las Vegas, most of the main attractions are on the strip itself. There is no need to venture off unless you're looking for a bank or found a restaurant you want to check out that is off the strip. If you do this, we suggest you make sure to take some form of transportation and not just wander off the strip, because walking just a few blocks on either side of the strip could lead you to some very sketchy neighborhoods. Number 15. Wave down a taxi. There are some cities in the US where you can simply step out on the street and wave down a taxi, and that is perfectly fine, but not in Las Vegas. A taxi stopping in the middle of the street and pulling to the side of the road is illegal in Las Vegas. The best way to find a taxi is to head to any of the hotel valet stands and simply wait for the taxi there. Number 14. No jaywalking. There's a lot to see, and it can be very busy on the strip. So we understand the inkling to want to cross wherever you can to get to your destination quicker. However, there is a lot of traffic on the strip, so crossing anywhere could be dangerous. Even more so, Las Vegas, especially on the strip, has high rates of DUIs. So crossing in the middle of the strip could lead to some very serious ramifications and be extremely dangerous. Just walk the few extra feet and cross at the designated spot to keep yourself safe. Number 13. Stay out of the fountains. Las Vegas is known for being crazy and for allowing people to do things they would never do anywhere else. After all, the motto is, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Many casinos have fountains, including the Bellagio, and it might be tempting to jump into them. Whether it be for fun or because someone dared you, we highly suggest you don't do that, because security will call the cops and you will end up getting arrested. Number 12. Don't drink too much. It's inevitable if you're there for a good time that you're gonna have a few drinks, but we highly suggest you pay attention to how much you're drinking. After all, if you get drunk and belligerent, several ramifications could cause a lot of problems. Not only could you be kicked out of the hotel or casino you're staying in, but you could also be blacklisted. Not to mention, you don't want to ruin your vacation with a trip to the hospital or even worse, jail. So, just monitor your drinking. Have a good time, but don't overdo it. Number 11. Check the weather. No matter what season you're going in, it's always best to check the weather. Though most people will assume that during the summer months Vegas is sunny and warm, that is not always the case. Oftentimes, in the summer, there will be summer storms. The last thing you want to do is get there and find out that your vacation days are going to be spent inside because of torrential downpours. On top of that, summer is quite hot, so knowing the temperatures can help you pack. As for fall and winter, you're going to experience colder weather and rain. So just check that weather app about a week before you come to Vegas so that you can get the most accurate forecast and plan accordingly. Number 10. Stay away from timeshare people. There are a lot of timeshare groups throughout the city of Las Vegas. It's perfectly understandable because there are a lot of people who want a vacation in this location, and timeshares can be a good deal. Though it's not necessarily a bad thing, you want to understand what you're getting into before you sign anything. We highly suggest you check it out and don't be fooled by all the free stuff that they're promising. Number 9. Street performers. There are tons of amazing street performers and others dressed up as characters and offer to take pictures with you. We understand why you might think this is an amazing souvenir to have. One thing we suggest is that you ask before the picture is taken if they're going to charge you for it. This will keep you from getting into some very intense situations that could escalate to having authorities called. Number 8. Watch out for ATM fees. It's inevitable at some point you're going to need some cash, but we highly suggest you watch out for those ATM fees at the third-party ATMs in casinos and on the strip. They can charge anywhere from $5 to $15, and that could impact the budget you have for the fun you've planned. If you need to take out some money, we suggest you take a taxi to the closest branch of your bank and use their ATM. Number 7. Be nice to the staff. Las Vegas is a town of hospitality, and that means that the staff is intending to deliver everything they possibly can to make your stay great, because their pay and tips depend on it. But they are human just like everybody else. If you treat them badly, you may find that you're waiting for service or getting subpar service. So, the best rule of thumb is the same as it is everywhere. Just simply be nice to people, and they will be nice back. Number 6. Be careful who you invite back to your room. This next one can potentially be a big mistake. You have to be careful who you decide to invite back to your room. There are many different reasons for this. Some people are looking to take advantage of tourists and are simply looking to rip you off, whether that be taking your wallet or your identification. Also, there are other things to consider, including escort and prostitution. Be careful of this if this is something that you wind up doing, because although many people believe prostitution is legal in Las Vegas, it is not, and it could wind up getting you in a lot of trouble. Number 5. Don't smoke in your room. We know that many people are going to Las Vegas expecting to be able to partake in the newly legalized activity of smoking marijuana. But just like regular smoking, smoking marijuana is not acceptable in your hotel room. The legalization of this is only intended for personal residences, and if you are found to be smoking this in a non-personal residence, you could potentially be arrested. Number 4. Don't book shows last minute. In other parts of the country like New York City, booking shows last minute can often wind up being way less expensive than booking it far out. But in Las Vegas, this is the opposite. If you wait until the day of the show, you're going to wind up with the worst deals. The best way to get discounts on shows in Las Vegas is to check with your hotel and see if they can find you any discounts. Number 3. Don't use third-party sites. It's often very enticing to utilize third-party sites like Expedia or other booking sites. This is because you can pay for everything in one location, and oftentimes you feel like you're getting a biggest discount. But the truth is, using those third-party sites can lead to a lot of problems if you wind up having to change the days or cancel the trip altogether. Instead of doing that, just call the hotels, because many of them can offer you the same deals as the sites do, because they give the entire fee, as opposed to having to pay commissions for the sites. Number 2. Leave the minibar alone. Many hotel rooms in Las Vegas come stocked with minibar full of drinks and snacks. But you have to be careful, because the prices of those minibars are very high. You can get the same thing for a much more reasonable price in other locations. For instance, maybe a bag of peanut M&Ms is like $3 or $4, but in that minibar, you're looking at $10. If you're enticed by that minibar, another thing you need to realize is that many of them have sensors, so the minute you open or pull something out, your room gets charged for that. So before you do that, make sure you're willing to pay those prices. Number 1. Don't overplan. Lastly, one of the biggest mistakes is that people that plan vacations for Las Vegas want to plan every single moment because they want to get everything in. But this takes away from the spontaneity of this destination, and we highly suggest you just go with the flow. Have a plan and things that you want to do, but be okay with changing that if you find something that's more exciting to you. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any top travel videos. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.